Easy Explain, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Nature, 1836. So we're going to start here by breaking down the structure of this essay, or very small book. Note this is not to be confused with Emerson's other essay named Nature from a few years later, from 1844. That one's a lot smaller, it doesn't have the scope, it didn't set this big transcendental foundation like Nature from 1836 does. So looking at the Nature from 1836, Emerson breaks this into 8 parts following an introduction. He does briefly introduce the work. But then from these 8 parts, you can really see what his scope is here, right? With some of the themes he's considering to take this transcendental stance on. He's looking at nature itself. He's looking at commodity, beauty, language, discipline, idealism, spirit, and prospects. So if we were to really, break this down and consider the entire work, be a very long series of videos. We're trying to get more of a broader scope across a few essays of Emerson's. So I'm just going to take a closer look at some of these parts, the ones where I think have pretty good sample passages to kind of get a snapshot of Emerson's early transcendentalism here. So first we're going to jump to part 4, look at language here. So let's see what Emerson says in this part. He says, "The world is emblematic. Parts of speech are metaphors because the whole of nature is a metaphor of the human mind." And, a lot of references, a lot of works will pull that quote specifically from Emerson to sum up what his transcendental view of nature is. He's really equating nature with mind, right? That those two things are going hand in hand. Nature is a mind. It's an extension of the human mind. The mind is an extension of nature, right? Those two things are blending together. And in nature, we find the true nature of our mind, and we do find mind in nature, right? That's the transcendental view. Definitely a little metaphysical at times, but that's probably a pretty famous, at least the second half of that passage. You'll probably hear that quoted for Emerson a lot. Moving on to part 5, where Emerson talks about discipline. He says, "Nature is a discipline of the understanding and intellectual truths," tying it back into that idea of the mind and nature being united. And here's something a little more poetic, waxing poetic here. Emerson says, "A leaf, a drop, a crystal, a moment of time is related to the whole and partakes of the perfection of the whole. Each particle is a microcosm and faithfully renders the likeness of the world." Finally, considering part 8, prospects, a little bit of a finale of sorts for now. Emerson says, "The invariable mark of wisdom is to see the miraculous in the common." Very deep, very uplifting, right? Very inspiring. Hopefully those few selections give you a sense of the transcendentalism that Emerson is putting forth in Nature from 1836. From this, we're going to jump into more of a scholarly work, more of an academic work. The next essay we're going to look at is called The American Scholar from the next year. Definitely a different take on things, but for now, I hope this helps.